This is Author Conversations, the Stenhouse Publishers podcast. When students consider historical events from the perspectives of people who experienced them, it brings a sense of engagement to studying history that doesn't happen with textbooks alone. In this recent phone interview, Joan Schur, author of the new book Eyewitness to the Past, describes her approach to teaching history using primary sources.
I think history is too often events that kids have to memorize without really imagining them. Any of the events in the textbook, if you lived through them at the time, were things that people cared about passionately. They didn't know how they were going to end up. And so by taking an eyewitness, there are two factors. I make sure that students are imagining these events through an eyewitness perspective, but then also I make sure that students have different eyewitness perspectives. And that's where the fun comes into this approach. They might be, for example, writing speeches, election speeches for different candidates, and would be sort of writing, and then it would end up in a debate. And a lot of the activities end up in some sort of simulation because students have taken different perspectives on the events that they've imagined. And they've imagined them really because of the adding in the primary source documents, adding in the voices of people who lived through those events, and not some sort of distant textbook approach, which is giving a summary from a very neutral point of view. I really believe that teachers know it's very hard to make history exciting only using the textbook. The textbook is presenting sort of, by nature of being a textbook, it's presenting one interpretation. It's presenting everything seems as if it had to turn out the way it did. There's sort of an inevitability to it. Whereas when you're living through history, you know very well it wasn't inevitable that we won World War II. It's not at all clear what we should do about the war in Iraq. And so I knew that to make history exciting, teachers had to make students feel, empathize, imagine what these events must have been like for people living through them. And when I looked at it from that angle, I had a window into how I could use the textbook, but add in this approach where students very much learn what's in the textbook. They're using the material, they're using the facts, but they're working with them, imagining them, seeing them from different points of view, imagining how ordinary people lived. And that's really what I wanted to convey. History's exciting from the point of view of ordinary people. Ordinary people are the ones who fought the battles in the Civil War, voted for the presidents, and I really wanted to put their role back into history. So it's not just the story of the famous people and the presidents. It's also the citizens' role in what makes American history.
To learn more about Joan's approach to teaching history in grades 5 through 12, check out Eyewitness to the Past, available online through Stenhouse Publishers and also through your Stenhouse distributor. Thanks for listening.